We'll be getting you all those details, but first let's start with the big developments that have come in from the Russia-Ukraine war, where Ukraine has struck Russia again, and this time it is beneath the waves. Now, Kiev's security service detonated more than a ton of explosives under the Crimean bridge, targeting Russia's prized supply line. Now, the underwater attack marks a new escalation in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. And Ukraine's security service, or the SBU, has unleashed a meticulously planned underwater strike in the Crimean bridge, detonating 1,100 kilograms of explosives and also blasting the bridge's submerged pillars. Now, the operation, which Kiev says took months in the making and was meticulously planned. Now, with the strikes intensifying on the diplomatic front, Ukraine and Russia came face to face for the second time in Istanbul. Despite over an hour-long negotiations, peace in Ukraine remains very elusive. And one major player that has remained missing from action is, of course, the United States of America. The American President Donald Trump started off his term with a promise to bring about peace. He swung into action immediately, held talks with Putin and Zelensky separately. But in recent months, the interest from Washington is seemingly dwindling. Now, soon after the talks, the American ambassador in Turkey said, this is what the American ambassador in Turkey had to say, and I quote him here: President Trump has reached the end of his patience. You can't say that he is a very patient person. Now, just before the talks, Ukraine carried out these audacious Operation Spiderweb deep inside the Russian territory. On Sunday, the Ukrainian drones targeted Russian nuclear bomber base and a nuclear submarine base. The attack left a big question mark on Russia's defenses. There are also speculations on whether Kiev kept Washington in the loop or not. The American President Trump is yet to react on the Ukrainian attack. Meanwhile, the Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan has said in a statement that the US's role in efforts to bring peace has now opened a new window of opportunity. Listen in.
We find the US's belief and support in these talks extremely important. Mr. Trump's determination to establish peace has opened a new window of opportunity. What really matters is to establish a sustainable peace.
Now, like the first round of talks, the United States has played a low-key role this time round. And according to the US State Department, Marco Rubio held a call with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, where he's reiterated President Trump's call for continued direct talks between Russia and Ukraine to achieve lasting peace. From promising peace within 24 hours of taking office to extending a self-imposed deadline to 100 days, Trump has faced a diplomatic deadlock in Ukraine. But the big question, of course, is this: is Trump losing patience on Ukraine? All right, now to give us more perspective on this, we are joined in this broadcast by Mr. John Erath, who is a Senior Policy Director for the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation in Washington, that is joining us live in this broadcast. Mr. Erath, this is a crucial moment in the Russia-Ukraine war. The fact that these very high-profile and escalatory attacks have been carried out. You know, what I want you to weigh in on is the silence of Donald Trump so far since the attack that took place on these Russian nuclear-capable bombers, and also this attack on the Kerch Strait. Why do you think President Donald Trump has stayed quiet?
I think that he's waiting until some more details are known. Right now, much of what is being reported on these recent attacks is still in the nature of a rumor. And it's clear that something happened, but the full effects, I think, are yet to be known. So he's probably keeping silent until there is more to know about what are the results of the attacks and what does this mean for the ongoing talks in Istanbul.
All right, now the ongoing talks in Istanbul, you know, in the event of these attacks that have taken place, do you think peace talks have any meaning at all? The fact that the Ukrainians used their drones to carry out attacks on these Russian nuclear bombers, does this mean that these peace talks can result in anything, or are they now just simply irrelevant and now we're looking at a possible escalation going from here on?
The peace talks have had limited results thus far. Primarily, some prisoner exchanges have been worked out, and that's a positive development. But the chances of coming up with a ceasefire or a lasting peace have always been remote. This was always going to be something very difficult to do. There was never the chance to end the war in one day. So it's positive that the talks are continuing, but I think it is reasonable to have an expectation that it is going to be a lengthy process.
All right, my quick final question to you is this. When Donald Trump met Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House, and we saw those scenes that unfolded, he had said that Volodymyr Zelensky, in his opinion, does not appear to be a man who's interested in peace. And he also went on to say something interesting. He said that Zelensky believes that he's stronger because of the American backing that he gets. Now, for these attacks to have been carried out by the Ukrainians on the Russian nuclear bombers, do you think the Americans were kept in the loop? Could the Ukrainians have carried out an attack of this scale without the Americans being involved?
I'm not privy to the classified information on this, so I don't have any firsthand knowledge. It is certainly the case that the Ukrainian military coordinates many of their operations with the U.S. I don't know if they did in this case or not. The Ukrainian military and their security service have developed a great number of capabilities over the course of 3 years of war. So it is possible that they planned and carried this out without consulting anyone. If so, that's a great credit to them. And it shows not only that they have the capability to conduct these things, but that they have the will to continue the fight.
Interesting. We'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. John Irath, for joining us with that perspective there.
You're very welcome.